Hello and welcome, my friends. Welcome to another interesting review. This time I have for you a FLARO fountain pen, a communist fountain pen made in the late 1980s, so at the end of the communist regime in Romania, which ended in December 1989. This product is from 1987. I always thought that this particular model was made in the early 1990s after the Romanian Revolution, and I will tell you why in a minute. First of all, I bought it in its original box. It is a simple plastic box. It has engraved here FLARO, a famous Romanian producer of fountain pens in communist time in the town of Sibiu. And it opens like this. I'm very proud, but because we have the original leaflet, and this is the actual pen. It is a simple plastic pen made for students, for school people, very economical, and we will talk about it. So let me put it here and show you the leaflet. And actually, I know it was made in 1987 because it is written on the leaflet. And we have this serial number which ends in 87, and this means that it was made in 1987. And back then, in 1987, it cost 51 lei. I'm not so sure the equivalent of euros or lei back then, and probably we'll search it on the internet, but it wasn't a very expensive writing instrument. I will try to translate the instructions. I hope that I can do a good job. So, instruction of use. Întreprinderea producătoare vă recomandă să acordați atenția cuvenită acestor instrucțiuni, deoarece acest stilou FLARO Coral este un stilou de bună calitate și veți fi mulțumit de calitatea sa în utilizare. So the producer recommends that you pay attention to those instructions because this FLARO Coral fountain pen is a high quality pen and you will be pleased of its working capabilities. Sorry, my friends, before I forget, interesting logo here, FLARO, and it has a fountain pen, a ballpoint pen, and a mechanical pencil, I think. Okay, the instructions. Instruction A. Se scoate capacul stiloului prin tragere. You remove the cap by pulling it. Instruction B. Se scoate corpul stiloului prin deșurubare spre stânga pentru a avea posibilitatea de a acționa pistonul. Yes, it refers to the way that the actual working mechanism. Okay. Interesting now. So these are refill information which I will show you. Pay attention. We recommend that you wash your pen once a month with cold water by filling and emptying the reservoir a few times. If the pen stood a long time not used and the ink has dried, we recommend that you wash it with a solution of hot water, maximum 40 degrees temperature, and 10% maximum alcohol in that mixture. And those are the original instructions back from 1987, and they are in an amazing shape. I forgot to tell you, this was part of a lot, my friends, so I can't estimate the value, but judging by the way that we have the pen and a box and instruction, this, in my point of view, is worth around 120 lei, the equivalent of 24.11 euros or 26.58 US dollars. Of course, because you will see it's in an NOS shape. The price is made by the market, and this is a recommended price. And actually, yes, I think it's the right price, in my point of view. Again, you could find it cheaper without the instruction and the box, but you also can find it even more expensive. Not a very special pen in my point of view. It is made out of plastic, but it has those striations which make it a very good pen to hold. The cap is pressure fit, as I've told you in the instructions. You can cap it. Interesting enough, we have thermically engraved FLARO at one top and probably at the other part. We can see the bad quality of production of communist-made pens, though this is not. This is how it went out of the factory. You can see those little imperfections. The clip is simple, but it is prone to cracking right over here. Okay, the grip section is made actually of the same pattern as the body. We have FLARO and iridium. This is an all steel nib. And interesting enough, we have the feeder, which is transparent. I hope that you can see in this lighting. What is interesting about this pen, and the fact that I previously believed that it was made after the communist period, is the actual filling mechanism. At first glance, it is a classical card ink converter, but the main difference of this ink converter is the fact that you can pull it out, and if it breaks you can replace it with another ink converter. Usually the communists made fountain pens back in the 1970s and early 1980s were made with captive ink converters. So I don't have an example, but if you watch my FLARO Vega fountain pen review, you know what I mean. So basically it's this, but without the capacity of pulling it out. So it is part of the body. Beautiful. I said it is NOS, but I've made a mistake, because we definitely can see some ink residues on this ink converter. You can see them. Interesting enough, I believe that this diameter you can also use ink cartridges, and I don't know if I have one to show you. Let me search on my desk. I was not prepared for this, but I think I have a few of them here, and we can make an actual test. Let me see if I can find. Yes, I found one which is empty. You can see this is an international size ink cartridge, and I'm curious to see if we can fit it to this FLARO Coral fountain pen. And yes, it fits like a glove. And this is an amazing thing, my friends, because I thought that the ink cartridges have entered the Romanian market after the 1999, after the Romanian Revolution, but it shows us that the communist industry was trying to match their counterparts in Western Europe, which, by the way, my friends, in Germany, the cartridges were a standard in the 1970s and the 1980s. But in Romania, we took our time to adapt to the new trends of the market. Of course, the Romanian market was isolated back then. We only dealt with other communist countries in the communist bloc of countries. And A thing that I don't know, if they started producing this in 1987, I don't know if they also made ink cartridges back then at FLARO CBU. Maybe if you know, you can share this information in the comments, my friends. So I will put it right over here, and I've shown you that this was already used, so I think that I can fill it up with ink, and I actually have an ink bottle from Pelican right over here. I have a small notepad. I hope you won't mind, my friends, but we will do a small writing sample with this pen. Don't expect much from a steel nib, but I must show you also a writing sample, because the review won't be full without the writing sample. Okay, so we have here the FLARO Coral, and I have here the Pelican ink. So let me put the cap here. I will put this here, and with this occasion I will show you how to actually this mechanism works. So you put this end of the piston, because the ink converters is like a piston, and I will dip it in ink, and now I will draw up the actual ink. Let's see. And you can see I've drew the ink almost to half of the capacity of the reservoir. Now I will remove the excess of the ink, and let's see if I have a little tissue right over here. Yes, I have it. And now I will remove the excess of the ink from the grip section. Okay, let me see. I will put back the barrel like this, and now I will cap it like this. And okay, just put back the cap of the ink bottle. I hope I won't need it anymore. And I'm ready to show you how this writes. So we have a FLARO Coral, made in Romania, in 1987. Okay, back then it cost 51 leis, and I'm not so sure what, of course the euro wasn't around, so probably you can compare it with the Deutsche Mark or the US dollars. I'm not so sure, but probably you can find on the internet the equivalent of 50 communist leis back then. As you can see, look, a little drop here, and let me put this. I hope that we don't have the same problem with overspilling of the ink. Maybe I did not clean it properly. Okay, so FLARO Coral, made in Romania in 1987. It cost 51 leis. In today's money, around and in today's money, I think that you can find this for around 25 euros or 26 US dollars, around there, because it has the original box and the original leaflet. And now let me see, let me show you. We don't have a flex nib. Okay, I don't like it. It runs it definitely has a little bit of a problem with the ink flow, but I will continue the writing sample. Now let me show you if we have some line variance, not applying pressure, and here I'm starting to apply pressure, so no line variance and no flexibility to this simple steel nib. And what else? Let me try to reverse write with it. Reverse writing. And you can see again that ink flow, but it certainly can write in reverse, right? And why not? Let me see if we can do a signature with it. It does okay. It doesn't scratch. It's not so smooth as I thought it will be, but it doesn't scratch. It's certainly a nib with character to it. But again, I don't like that we have this ink spill. And let me see if I can do something to restore the flow of ink. Oh, it appears to be good. I was trying to see if I can do. Let me. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't use often ink converters. I'm just trying to operate the rod like this. You probably can see. And to remove some of the ink, and now put it back in like this, like to draw the excess of the ink. Now I'm doing this again, and I hope that we don't have the same problem, because I want to write. And let me zoom a little bit for you to see better the writing sample. So now I will try to write as small as I can and tell you about. I hope that it will zoom on what I write. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So you can see, my friends, it performs quite nice. And although it was not perfect, I think it was an interesting pen for students. But that problem with the ink flow, I think on this particular Coral fountain pen was very common back then. And for some of the students, it was a real nightmare to write with those fountain pens. This is the reason why in the late 1980s, on the Romanian communist markets entered the Chinese pens, which were copies practically of the Parker 51, and they had that amazing aromatic filling mechanism, which in my point of view is superior to this one. But again, it was also a matter of cost. Certainly the Chinese pens, I think, they were expensive, more expensive than the Romanian ones. And probably this is the reason that the Coral Floral didn't have a large lifespan, probably produced in the late 1980s and probably even at the beginning of the 1990s. And my friends, this was its review. I hope you've enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. And God bless you all, my dear friends. Bye-bye.